This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Beckman and I'm a registered dietitian with the New York State Office for the Aging and SnapEd New York. Thanks for joining me today on What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Today I'm going to be making a healthy egg burrito. We'll be posting the link to the recipe below, and the recipe can also be found on the SnapEd New York website at www.snapedny.org. This recipe makes 4 servings with 280 calories per serving, 21 grams of carbohydrates, and 16 grams of protein. Before I start cooking, let's look at My Plate. This recipe covers the protein section on the My Plate graphic. Protein is needed to make cells in your body, including skin and muscle cells and immune cells. Immune cells help you to fight off bacteria and viruses. Eggs are an excellent source of protein. You want to vary your protein routine by including both low-fat animal forms of protein like eggs, poultry, and fish, and vegetable forms of protein like beans, seeds, nuts, legumes, and soy. Vegetable forms of protein are naturally lower in fat than animal forms of protein. Avoiding high-fat foods can help to improve heart health. This recipe also includes some vegetables, and you can mix it up to make these burritos exactly how you like them. Remember that everything you eat and drink over time matters. Make every bite count by finding your healthy eating style and maintain it for a lifetime. The right mix can help you be healthier now and in the future. Remember that you can always watch our past episodes of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page or the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel. If you visit our YouTube channel, make sure that you like and subscribe. If you click on the notification bell, you'll get a notification every time a new video is posted. So let's get into making this egg burrito. Remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer before you start cooking. So let's look at the ingredients for this recipe. First, you're going to need 4 whole grain tortillas. I was able to find whole wheat tortillas, but I know that's not traditional. You can use any kind that you like. And you can heat the tortillas up in a pan or in the microwave before you put the eggs in them if you want to. Now, the recipe calls for a half of a red pepper diced, and I'm going to cut that up in just a minute. Here I have 1 tablespoon of fresh dill finely chopped. You could also use cilantro or parsley. You can use dried too. You don't have to use fresh if you don't want to. Here I have about 2 handfuls or maybe about 2 cups of fresh spinach chopped. Now you could use frozen spinach. Probably anywhere from 1/2 to 1 cup of frozen spinach, I think, would be about equivalent to 2 cups of fresh. Now just make sure if you're using frozen, you want to thaw it and drain it really well before you use it. The best thing to do is to put the thawed spinach in a colander and then squeeze as much of the moisture out that you can. Here I have a small red onion finely diced. You could use a white or a yellow onion also. And you could use a medallion onion or scallions. Those are a little bit milder. You can use whatever you like. You could leave the onions out completely if you want to, or you could just use onion powder. Here I have about 1/4 cup cheese shredded. Now this ingredient is optional. You can use any cheese that you like, but you want to look for low-fat options to cut down on the amount of saturated fat in the recipe. I have low-fat cheese here. It's like an Italian blend with some Parmesan and some mozzarella. Here I have 4 eggs, and I have put them in a bowl, and I have whisked them together. And lastly, I have a teaspoon of canola oil for the pan. Now, you can use salt and pepper to taste. I have those 2 things here, but you can also use other seasonings like garlic powder. I have some garlic powder right here because I like that in my eggs. Or you could use oregano or basil, anything that you like. You could use some spicy things like red pepper flakes or cumin, anything that would make it customized to the way that you like it. This recipe would also be a great way to use up some leftover veggies. I think that if you have broccoli or cauliflower that you might have left over from dinner the night before, that would be a great addition to these burritos and a great way to use those things up so that you don't waste them. Now the first thing we have to do is crack the eggs in a bowl. I already did that, and I whisked them together with a fork. Now I have a skillet here, and it's been heating up for a few minutes. So now I'm going to add the canola oil and let that heat up. You can use canola oil, you can use vegetable oil. You don't want to use olive oil because olive oil has what's called a low smoke point, which means that it doesn't do really well with very high temperatures. It's great using in other forms of cooking or as a salad oil, that's great, but not really good for really high cooking temperatures. Next, I'm going to add the onions to the pan, and I'm going to saute them. So let's put those in here. These are the red onions. You can hear them sizzling. So let's do that first. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to saute them for a few minutes until they're translucent, which means they sort of get clear colored, or you can see through them a little bit more. Right now they're sort of solid white and purple, and as they cook they're going to get a little clear looking. Next in the pan goes the red peppers. So let's cook those, or let's chop those up so that we can cook them. So the recipe calls for a half of a red pepper. Now that's fine, you can put a half of a red pepper in there if you want to, but I'm actually going to throw the whole thing in there because I don't have any plans to use a half of a red pepper later on in the week. I don't have anything that I'm cooking to use the rest of this pepper, and I just want to use it up. I don't want to waste it. So I am actually going to use this whole pepper here. So let's get these things out of the way. And I'm going to make sure that when I'm cutting the pepper up, I keep my fingers out of the way. So let's do that first. Let's keep fingers out of the way. I like to cut it in half after I cut the top off. You can cut this little white part out of the middle if you like. Get rid of the seeds. And then I just like to cut it into strips. Let's do that first. I'm going to curl my fingers out of the way. Keep them away from the knife. All right. And then I'm going to cut these into smaller pieces. And if you keep the pieces sort of uniform in shape and size, then they will cook around the same rate. I'm cutting them in maybe about a ½ size pieces. And if you wanted to use a different color pepper, you wanted to use yellow or orange or green, you absolutely can do that. Use whatever you like. So it's your breakfast or lunch. You can make it the way that you want. And that's really the beauty of cooking things at home. You have a lot more control about what goes into your food. So let's get the rest of these peppers here. I'm going to line them up. I'm going to keep my fingers out of the way. And I'm going to cut them into fairly uniform sized pieces. Do the best I can with that. Okay. You cut those up. Put that in with the onion. I'm going to stir that up again a little bit more. I can see that the onions are cooking. They're getting a little bit more translucent. Let's do that. Okay. That looks really good. It smells delicious. I love peppers and onions together, and they're great in the eggs. Let's put this away because I don't need that anymore. Now, next we are going to talk a little bit about these onions while they're cooking and the peppers while they're cooking. Red peppers are really a good source of vitamin A, vitamin C, folate, potassium, and fiber. And this is really a great breakfast because it has both protein and fiber in it. Both protein and fiber can help you feel full longer, and that can aid in weight loss and weight maintenance. Sometimes, if you eat something in the morning and it doesn't have a lot of fiber or protein in it, you might feel hungry even before lunchtime. So this is something that really might hold you over a little bit longer. Next, we're going to add the spinach, and we're going to heat it up until it's just a little bit wilted. So let's take the spinach and put it in the pan. And again, it's the fresh spinach, so it really does take up a lot of space. If you're using some spinach that was previously cooked and then frozen, it's going to take up a lot less space. But if it's frozen, it's going to be a lot colder. You're going to want to thaw it out. If you put it in frozen in the pan, it's going to take quite a bit longer to cook. But we're going to let this spinach cook down a little bit. And as it cooks down, it's going to take up a lot less space in this pan. I'm going to make sure that that's really all getting some heat on it. All right. So, of course, like I said, you want to make sure that if you're using some frozen spinach, that you really get all of the moisture out of it, as much moisture out of it as you can. Now, spinach is an excellent source of vitamin B6 and E, potassium, and magnesium. It also has some fiber in it and even a little bit of iron. Now, spinach is, of course, a leafy green vegetable. Many leafy green vegetables have antioxidant qualities that can help reduce the risk of some cancers and heart disease. Now, as that cooks down, then we're going to add the eggs in next, but let's give that just another minute or so to get some more of that spinach cooked down. That's looking pretty good. That piece there needs a little bit more heat. All right, that looks good. Starting to smell really good too. Okay, so next, like I said, the eggs go in. So I'm going to take these eggs that I've beaten. We're going to put them right into the pan. Let's see. Okay. Well, that looks great. You might have to turn up the heat a little bit more just to make sure that you get those eggs cooking. All right. So you can scramble the eggs or sort of treat it like an omelet and sort of let it sit in the pan and then fold it over like an omelet. But I'm actually just going to scramble these eggs. So I'm just going to mix everything up in the pan together. I'm going to mix the tomato or the peppers and the spinach together. And one of the things that I had left in my refrigerator was I actually had some extra grape tomatoes, just sort of like a handful of them, not too much. So I thought, I'm just going to throw those in. So there they go, right into the pan. And that's just going to add just a little bit more color. And you know, if you had added some orange peppers and then you had the red tomatoes, that would look really great. And as it is, it looks beautiful with that spinach in there. You know, when you're looking at the different vegetables that you eat, you want to try and eat as many different colors as possible because each vegetable has different nutrients in it. There isn't any one perfect vegetable, right? So adding different colors like orange and green and yellow and red and making sure that you eat those different colors throughout the week, you're making sure that your body gets all of the nutrients that it needs. All right, so that's going to be almost done. You want to stir this until all of the eggs are firm. By cooking the eggs thoroughly, you're cutting down on the chance that you could get salmonella from the eggs because cooking helps to kill the salmonella bacteria. Now, once the eggs are firm, then you can turn the heat off and sprinkle the cheese on if you want to, if you're using the cheese. So I'm going to add in the cheese and sort of spread it around, make sure that it's sort of all the way through the egg mixture. I'm going to give that a chance to melt. And then you can give that a minute to melt a little bit more. And you're going to want to add in your spices. Okay, so let's do the dill. We're going to put the dill in first. Like I said, you could use parsley, you could use cilantro, you could use oregano, anything that you like. So you're going to put that in there. And the fresh dill smells amazing. And like I said, you can use dried too. If that's what you have, then that's what you can use. And last, I'm going to put in the garlic powder. Garlic powder, because I like that in my eggs. We have a little bit, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. I'm going to put both of those things in. And then we're going to make sure that ooh, that smells really good. We're going to stir all of those things together. And it looks like the cheese is melting very nicely. That looks great. Now, I do have some whole wheat tortillas behind me. I'm going to get those. I lost a tomato and a pepper. I'm going to put those back in the pan. So I'm going to get the tortillas behind me. And I'll show you how to put that into the burrito. Hold on. Okay, so here is a tortilla. Like I said, you can heat them up ahead of time if you want to. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to attempt to roll this into a burrito. I am not an expert by any means, but let me show you how we can do this. I'm going to put some of this egg mixture sort of towards the bottom of the tortilla. I'm going to try and get all of that right into the middle there. Okay. And then what you can do is you can fold in this top or the bottom here. Fold the bottom in first, and then you can fold the sides in. And then you're going to roll it up. Let's see how I do with this. Try and tuck that all in there. There we go. I did it. Not too bad. Like I said, not an expert. I'm sure there are some of you out there that could do this way better than I did. But you can see that it's sort of really easy to sort of pick up and bring with you. So it's sort of a grab and go kind of a breakfast. So that's it. And depending on the size, you might want to cut the burrito in half or not, whatever the size of your tortilla is. Now, like I said, if you're short on time, you could even probably make these ahead of time, make them the night before, put them in the fridge, and then put them in the microwave and heat them up before you walk out the door and go on your day, and bring all of this breakfast with you. Now, I hope that this recipe gave you some ideas on how to incorporate eggs and some veggies into your breakfast. I don't always get to put veggies in my breakfast. It's not usually the first thing I think of. I want you to join me next month when I'm going to be making a minestrone soup. It's a nice cozy recipe for the cold months. We'll be back with another edition of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on Friday, February 23rd at 12:30 p.m. on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page and the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel, where you can find out more ways to save time, save money, and eat healthy. This presentation was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. See you next time, and stay safe out there.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
Hi, I'm registered dietitian Wendy Beckman, host of What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to share healthy, nutritious recipes with you on the show. I work for the New York State Office for the Aging, and thanks to a partnership with SNAP Ed New York, our nutrition team reaches hundreds of thousands of older New Yorkers each year. So why a cooking program? 60% of health costs and related issues have nothing to do with health, but instead have to do with individual behaviors like our food choices and physical activity. The recipes we feature are nutritionally appropriate for older adults, meeting critical nutrition requirements for healthy aging. What I bet you don't know is that this show is only part of a larger effort. To help me explain what our nutrition team at the New York State Office for the Aging does and what a registered dietitian is, here is registered dietitian Lisbeth Irish.
A registered dietitian is a professional who has training and education in food and nutrition. To become an RD, you must complete certain requirements, including a minimum of a bachelor's degree from an institution that's accredited by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. You must also pass a national examination and meet continuing education requirements. What does that mean? As RDs, we are qualified to offer accurate advice about nutrition, and we can help answer your questions about how diet can affect your health. At NYSOFA, the registered dietitians handle many tasks. This includes hosting 2 online programs aimed at helping older New Yorkers make better nutrition choices. These programs are What's Cooking with NYSOFA, which is our monthly cooking demonstration, and a Facebook Live program that I host called Ask the Experts, Nutrition Edition. In the months ahead, be on your lookout for it. We'll be sharing your questions and our experts' answers about nutrition and health. New episodes of Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition debut the second Friday of each month on Facebook and YouTube.
As Lizbeth explained, registered dietitians at NYSOFA handle many tasks, including food safety at congregate meal sites, educational materials, and outreach. In the meantime, please don't miss an episode of either show produced by our team, What's Cooking with NYSOFA and Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition. Every episode is uploaded to YouTube, and you'll find the archive shows there.
Do you have a question about foods? Or do you have a particular health issue that you'd like to improve by changing your diet? Tune in to Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition every second Friday at 1 p.m. We'd love to hear from you.
Remember, registered dietitians are the experts in nutrition. Visit for more sound advice about eating healthy on a budget.